right, folks, hello and welcome to Simso Sessions, a safe space to share your stories. Tonight, we are continuing with our discussion we started last week. Back in the big chair, distinguished Jamaican actor, painter, producer, philanthropist, inspirer, and life student, Paul Campbell, who gave us a wide open window into his incredible journey last week. This week, we pick up, and if you think you've heard anything yet, trust me, you're going to hear so much more. Trials, triumphs, sorrows, successes, so much more to come. Thank you, sir, for sticking around. I appreciate it. Okay, so last week we looked at mom, dad. We talked about growing up and some of the challenges you face. We're talking about breaking big in the industry. I must admit to you folks that I had my cue cards last week and I was trying to follow them, but Paul, I just have to go where Paul takes me because the whole thing is important. And we'll get it all done, but I just have to follow it as you lead it, sir. We did not talk last week about your instances with illness. We didn't talk about your 3 times married last week either. But all of it plays a role in who you are and who sits here today. So we talked about how acting took you to the world. London was one of the places that you ended up. Is that where you married for the first time?
Yes, I lived in London for over 8 years, 9 years, married. And after the divorce, I came back to New York. And I started living in New York. But yeah, London was in London at the time, whilst I lived there, I did the Covent Garden, the West End. Yes, the West End. I did some French theater work. And London was also the place where I started doing most of my paintings and started having exhibitions. And then as an extension, I'd jump on the boat and I'd go to Paris or I'm going to Lugano or Lucerne, and that's in Switzerland. Because once you get on them side, you take a train and you're everywhere. So I did that for quite a number of years, you know. I call it gathering information as well. And then when I got back to London, inevitably so, I had to move on because it just wasn't going to work anymore with the wife. Although she was an absolutely wonderful lady, I've got to let you know that. No, listen. That lady is gracious lady, and you know. But the fact is, I was a young buck. And she was not as young as I was, and she'd already gone through that side of her life. Why go, you know? So we understood each other. And the greatest thing about London, and so many things were taught by this woman as well. You know, how you don't need to get into, just say it as it is. Say it as it is. No flustering, no shades, just say it, you know? And we decided to, and then I went to New York and got stuck into New York and started going to school and doing drama here and teaching, because I teach as well. The summers I used to teach at Medgar Evers in Brooklyn, and I taught at the Mount Vernon High School. Yeah, I've been doing all of that, giving citations by the mayor of New York, of Mount Vernon. So it's Paul Campbell Day in Florida.
I know.
The 13th of April. So it's all, but I'm always into the giving, that side of it, not always being the actor, but to pass it on.
And a lot of that, Paul, is largely because of how sobering life became for you when you got a glimpse into not having life at all. I mean, you mentioned in our last shoot about your dad traveling with you in the vehicle and you with a tube in your chest. You speak of your bout with cancer. And you also had a heart attack. I want to talk about both, but something you said about when you had the heart attack struck me. You said, I had all the money in the world, but I was just a guy on the gurney. At that point, none of it mattered.
None. And that is what most people, no matter how wealthy you are or how financial advised, nothing helps then. When you're sitting there and you hear beep, beep, there was a machine in a bag with a big thing of chemo, like, you know, the IVs that they hang up. It was that size, and they had it in a bag with a machine, and the wire ran from the machine. They cut me in here and put it, and that was it. I walked around with that for 14 months, you know, and nothing mattered. I ran away from the Jamaican community because at that time, the stigma was AIDS, and once it had gone out that I'd lost all this weight, it had to be AIDS.
You were 80? You were 90 pounds?
I was 96 pounds.
Oh.
I was lymph nodes in both knees. When I was at my worst, I had not much hair. I had lymph nodes in both knees. I wore stockings from to ankle to hip, and I used a walker. After 4 months, 5 months into the chemo, my skin started darkening. I've always wanted to have the blackest skin, but the sort of West Africa black skin, not the one caused by. So it started blotching out, and then I started having sores in my mouth. Started losing the weight. I started flat. Oh man, it was horrible. Whilst I'm vomiting, I'm number twoing, and it's like that, and that's how you lose the weight. And then there's this pain that comes along with it, and you shake and you shake and you shake, and then it subsides. And then you say, God, please, God, because you don't know. And then when you find out that's the end of your treatment, and the doctor says to you, oh, Mr. Campbell, there's nothing more we can do for you. You'll have to go home. And I said, die? He said, no, I really, no, not really, but there are some other ways of, because we have given your body all that chemo that it can take.
It's killed everything good and bad.
And we have killed you with that radiation stuff. Everything inside of you have died, so we just go home and let's see what grows back for you, because that's how the treatment works. It kills everything, and if you're strong enough, it grows back. So Paul went home, and I embarked upon a holistic, a spiritual, a very deep spiritual holistic journey that, like most of us who get in trouble or get to the point where we're calling out, God, 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 we have a tendency of moving over to that. But for me, it started at a very early age, you know, believing that there was something more than just what these people in my neighborhood tell me.
Hold on to that. We explore more with Paul about that on the other side and how that kept him through this tumultuous time. We're back after this.
Hey Sim, you know, so it's more than just the keys to the BIM I have. You have the keys to unlocking feelings. You have the keys to unlocking hurt and giving grace and allowing us to express what it is we've been fighting privately and publicly. And the keys to opening that safe space. Thank you. Thank you for what you do every week. Thank you for doing it with such beauty, such charm, such warmth, and most of all, such genuineness. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Love you for life.
I just want to say I am so proud of you. I am extremely proud of you. You have change so many people's lives with Simsoul sessions. We may not be the one in the chair in front of you, but we gain so much from your shows. You are the epitome of positivity. You exude love, you exude nurturing, you give everybody a space to feel welcomed and heard, and we appreciate that. So just continue doing what you're doing. Know that your community love you. We really do love you. That's why we'll come around every Monday. We'll come around every Monday, or we'll wait on your YouTube video for drop, because we love you and we want you to know that. So just continue loving on us, and we will continue loving on you, okay?
Storytelling is a powerful medium. We learn, we grow, we share, we connect, we inspire. And that's what you do, Simone. You create a safe space for us to tell our stories. Such a powerful medium. And yet, what is important is that you remain focused on your mission. You are empowered. You have the power and you have the tools to parse through all the information coming at you and to decide what's relevant and what is not. Focus on the evidence that you collect that says you're making a difference, and keep on moving.
If you show up for us, then it's only right that we show up for you. Hi Simone, it's Michelle, and I'm just stopping by to send you some good vibes. I've seen everything that's been happening in the space, and I want to remind you of how valued, loved, and appreciated you are. Your work and voice is absolutely necessary in this space. Never dim your light for anybody. Keep shining bright. Please continue walking in grace and to your own rhythm. Cheers to many more sessions of Simsoul.
Okay, we are back with Paul Campbell. He's telling us about his bout with cancer. Paul, cancer took you out of money, took you out of yourself, almost took you out of your mind, took you out of your home. You were homeless.
I lived homeless. First of all, how this came about, I had just finished shooting a film called Shutters, and I was getting ready to go to LA to embark upon this career. I got myself an agent, but then I'm thinking, let me go to the doctors and get sorted out and make sure that I'm all right. And that's when I got the big news. Oh, this seems cancerous, Mr. Campbell. Let's take a biopsy and get back to you in a couple of days. But of course, if a doctor says to you, this seems cancerous, all your thoughts after that is going to be that it is cancer. And so I go home and I lived for the next 48 hours thinking that I'm going to die. All right, then he confirmed it. All right, you do have it. But not to worry. Yeah, man, these people. Have you got kids?
Have you got kids?
Have you got kids? Yes, I have 3 sons. Good. Because after this, you won't be able to so and so and so. Okay. Would you like a bag? Why would I want a colostomy bag? When it really gets bad, this is going to happen. That is going to happen, and it's convenient for you if you have a bag. I said, but if I get a bag now, I won't be to revert the process up. No. I said, but my private parts are great. They work perfectly. I don't need a bag. Designer or not a designer, I don't need a bag. I mean, I know everyone is pushing the thing to sell, but, and it's all of this, and I walk out, and then the little young lady I'm with, she said, don't worry yourself, I'm with you. I'm going to be with you. And I said, no, go.
You pushed everybody away.
Yeah, I pushed everybody away. I knew my people were going to say it's AIDS. The young lady that I was seeing at the time, I didn't want her to stop her life to get on with mine. So I sort of pushed everybody away.
You didn't even want your kids to see you.
I never wanted my kids to know either, but it was, I had to. You know, my youngest at the time, Elijah, he didn't understand the severity of what was going on. So when he'd come to visit, they live in New York, and they'd come to Florida, and he'd see me, you know, and he'd be himself all the time, jumping on me, and I'm saying, oh, careful, Papa, you know, and I'm putting away the strings, and I don't want him to see it, and I'm loving him, but I'm saying, can I get all the love now? Am I going to die? It was horrific. It was horrific. It was horrific. And then the mental that I talked to you about, that stepped in. The mental of knowing that you have to take charge of your own destiny. And the bigger question that you must ask as to, now, this can't be so, or why? You know, are they telling me that I have cancer? Is it true? Is it not true? What's going on? You ask all sorts of questions, you know, and then you become the spiritual guy, and then you say to yourself, God wouldn't do this. God, look how long I've been trying. I just got the break and then cancer? And I said, no, God wouldn't do that either, you know? And I say, all right, thanks, Doc. He said, listen, remember to still take the generic medicine that you take. I forgot the generic medicine, and I went out and I started taking all the holistic stuff. Good old ganja, that was a major part of the diet. The fruit soursop, its leaves, the moringa that you talk about, that, and a couple of other stuff that I'll have in my book. But those stuff together, it's the medicinal side of it. But then there comes the spiritual side of it.
So tell me about that night with that discussion on the beach with God.
When they drove away.
The discussion on when the night when you told yourself, this is not going to kill me. You said, I had a discussion with the Creator that night.
As far as that, I knew that that would never happen. My faith, my mother's teaching of faith, and I remember man, when you're in some places, you get flashbacks. Your mom, you know, because she was the only nurturer, the only guide so far. There's never been any other. Not even somebody who you call your partner, but probably interested in you in that particular way. Yeah, they not spiritually, not holy, but your mom, yes. So when she says things like, sweep up the yard because angel's not going to visit, or God don't like, God love cleanliness. And we sweep the yard and say, Mom, the yard is sweep, the dirt get hard and tough, but she still wants you to sweep. And it happens every time everybody eat. It's never failed. So they once start talking about, and you hear so many different things now as to who God might be. And when you're in this place that you need some help and you're saying, I want the God that will help me. But you've been growing up and you've been told about all these different gods, and they said, which God will help me? And then I closed my eyes. And I say, without moving my lips, I said, God, you can't help me? And I hear it. How is it I'm hearing it and I'm not? My lips aren't moving. So from that moment, from that instant, I hear that, and that voice that everybody ignores, that voice that you need to tune into, that knows where you're from originally, knows what you are, the truth about you. And that's what I tuned into. Because this, for me, is truly
It's a suit.
an outfit. This is
It's just-
you know, the everlasting, the spirit which is Paul, which answers me. I said, don't worry yourself, Pablo. Everything all right.
Hang on to that. We're going to tell you what happened at his next doctor's visit after that conversation when we come back. Okay, we are back with Paul Campbell. I remember you telling me about that nurse. You know, you remember the last Ensure that you drank from the nurse who just remembered or recognized you as a Jamaican actor, helping you to eat because you really had nothing.
No, I didn't want to see I didn't want anybody to know. There was a Jamaican at the hospital who worked there. And I want to thank her. I don't even remember her name. Whenever I went for the generic medicine, she'd have a bag packed with biscuits and Ensure. Yeah. Thank you, darling. Thank you so much.
I hope she's watching.
But, you know, it's people. I've had instances of people turning up out of the blue. I remember the woman who changed my bandages. She said, Mr. Campbell, why is it every time I need to come to you, I have to meet you in a car park or somewhere? I said, because I live in the truck. I live in the van. And she started crying. And that was a woman who started giving me the... So there are always people who will look out for you, or people are provided for you in that respect. So the worry and the stress and the bother after that is non-existent. Because I've been through that. And when I was on the street, you know how I got off the street? I was in that car, in that same old van, and a man who didn't know me from nowhere came up to me and says, are you Paul Campbell? I said, I used to be. And he says, where are you going to be tomorrow, Mr. Campbell? I says, right here. He turned up the next morning. And he slipped an envelope and just walked away. He said, there's a card in there, man. Just call me if... And I flipped through the envelope and it was over $6,000.
What?
Yeah. Total stranger. I went into a hotel, booked into a hotel, and just laid there for 5 days and slept for 5 days. Then when I got up, I got myself together, got an apartment going, and, you know, all of that stuff. But that's how it usually comes. It never is going to come from somebody that you know.
That's so sad.
Jet. They call him affectionately Jet. And Jet did this without even thinking.
But
so I've been helped.
You've been more than helped.
Yeah.
Your life is a testimony because you went back to the doctor. Your cancer was gone, Paul.
Listen, all now they don't know what happened to that cancer, where that cancer went, it disappeared. But this is what makes my thing I'm so convinced. The cancer is gone. I asked for it to be taken away and it's gone. It's gone. I've seen people flies dropping around me. And I'm going, wow, I need people to start tuning in.
To what?
Tuning into what? There are 3 planes that we exist. There's the spiritual plane, there's the mental plane, and there's the physical plane. Most people are now living on the physical plane. The spiritual plane in some places does not exist.
Yeah.
Yes, tuning in. That is the only way you're going to... This is why I tell you when life is mental. And when you're stressed and all of that, and it's because things are made to make you stress. Things happen to... Of course it is. You're supposed to be afraid. This is why there's so many things happening. You're supposed to be afraid. That's how you're controlled. But in your mind, you must understand that there's a spirituality. that you must dare to.
How do you reconcile the heart attack?
How do I reckon?
Your heart attack. Because 06, you beat the cancer. 2017, here comes a heart attack.
I'm driving one morning and I start sweating profusely, but it's not the regular sweat. It's the, what I'm called, the cold sweat.
Mm-hmm. Wash you.
And then the pain in the arm. And I got home, I started feeling really hot. Interior, like really hot. Sweating, I'm taking off my clothes, I take up the phone and I call my friend, I said, listen, I don't know what's happening, but I'm really hot and I'm taking off my, just say, call 911. And I called 911 and the next thing I remembered was I'm looking at some boots and the guy say, he's here in the bathroom. And so they come into the bathroom, they throw a towel on me and this guy is saying, where does it hurt? Where does, and I point to the chest and stat, they put me on the gurney. I'm rushed out into the ambulance. They shove a couple of thingies under my children's aspirins under my tongue. And I'm whisked off to the hospital. And when I next opened my eyes, the hurricane is raging outside. The last one we had in here, really, Irma. And I opened my eyes in intensive care and I go, thank you, God, I'm gonna make it. Because I saw I made it. So it's even that has concretized a lot of things as far as my thoughts are concerned. The giving back, why you are here as a human being. There are all the stuff that will come in that you must do because society's norms are these, which changes every day. But there are something for life, spirituality, people, beings on this earth that you as a being yourself, you are compelled to make that a part of your, you have to help, you have to support.
You have to be kind.
You have to.
Yeah.
And then it is so funny that after you've given up the suit, and
the suit,
and then you come to find out that, hey, your next assignment is, but all you will need is to help. That's all is required of you.
And that Paul Depan know, because really and truly, as he told me when we spoke, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. When you've lived through that.
Nothing.
Nothing else.
Absolutely. I hear people say, well, go with you. Listen, to be very honest, I'd be happy doing, like the other day I came here shooting a film. I directed a film the other day. That was the greatest thing for me. I'll do the work same way. Nothing stops that. I'll still be the gangster in the thing or whatever the character is. But my drive
is to help people.
It's about the people.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll talk more about that on the other side.
The empath that my mother was.
Yeah. Okay, so we are back with Paul. So, Paul, out of that has come your passion to help people. You've delved deeper into your painting. And so you're on the canvas every day.
Every day.
Something doesn't come every day, and you find if you try, nothing comes. But when it comes through, you say it comes through you like tears. And sometimes you have to literally tell yourself, Paul, get up now, Paul. Or you hear your mother's voice say, Paul, get up.
Today when I paint because I'm painting a message.
Yes.
I paint because it comes to me.
You say when you were a child, it was therapy. Today, it's a message.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was a child, it was therapy because I had to form other worlds to survive.
Escape.
To escape. But now, as I've gone through the gamut of life, where I am today is that, for me, it's messages. It's messages that you must do. Messages, this is why I paint every day.
What are the messages that you want to get?
The message I'm talking about, what you are as people, it's nothing more than that. Beings, when you look at animals, animals are not enslaving. Animals are not starving other animals. Animals are doing nothing that bipeds are doing. You know, and there is everything in this life, I think, is a pattern. It's a pattern. And if you fall out of the pattern, it's simple for me, to be very honest, Simone. I've already discovered that it's a pattern. You have to be a part of the pattern. There's no arrogance. And the bipeds tend to have arrogance. And then they start thinking themselves as a celestial being. Mm-hmm. And all these things and all these trips, I can't be bothered with, you know. So I remain here and I talk to the people who are here and willing to deal with it. I tune in because I know what they are putting together outside is a facade. It's either a facade to hurt people or it's a facade to, because, oh, come on, think about it. It's going to be a wonderful world tomorrow? Well, when? When you read newspapers that talk about we're trying to block the sun, when you know the sun is a nutrient. The sun makes the plants grow. The sun is my doctor these days. I ground every day. Was it not important that the design on the bottom of the soles of your feet, you have to connect? 10,000 years ago, they introduced shoes, right? Introduce shoes. You're disconnected. It's as simple as that, and nothing is really, it's simple.
What are some of the other ways now you take care of your, Paul calls this our suit, by the way.
My suit.
Our
I take care of my suit by
Stop
exercising.
smoking after you had the heart attack.
I smoke a little of that thingy, but because it improves my out there. But as far as the taking care of my body, yes, man, greens. After that cancer bout, how I climbed out of that hole, I lost my phone when I went into the illness, and I got a phone from somebody who was kind enough. The only time it has ever happened, I think, where I was with Metro PCS, that carrier, and they never disconnected my number. 14 months. The phone rang, and it was the voice on the other end was some folks from LA who were ready to shoot a movie called Machete Joe. That I had, I think 9 years before I'd spoken to them at a film festival in Jamaica.
Wow.
So
timing.
And then when I flew to LA, when they saw me with my cane and my 98 pounds, I went into a green farm. Everything consumed was green. When they were ready for camera, I was 165 pounds, wielding a machete. And that's the power of the Creator. And when I tell the folks and said, hey, 3 months ago I was 96 pounds using a walker, they all laugh. Oh, you're lying, man.
Sometimes when you sit back and you look at it, like, what do you think? Like, they say you're lying, but you know you lived it.
I smile, because I smile, and you know what I do these days? I'm so in tune now. I say, man, oh Creator, you're everything. And I smile and I walk. That's it. I'm aware of what's happening. I'm aware of what's going on. And I know what's put that in place. As they say, the universe. I know. So I call for it and it happens. And it's very simple if you get in tune. Everything else is facade. Everything else, my darling, is facade. True, genuine love. You hold your kid hand and just to see a kid laugh or smile, it's everything. No movie, no fast car can give you that satisfaction.
The things that we call the little things that are not little things at all. They're big, big things. True, genuine love. Can we share some of that for Paul Campbell, please? Lorianne Johnson, can you please run the tape? Thank you.
That's what
My brother, I just want to big you up today and join your many friends who are taking the time to congratulate you on your many achievements, to actually articulate and go on record as saying how proud we are of how you have distinguished yourself in so many fields. You continue to be a leading light and inspiration to many. And I just want to make sure that I put my 2 cents here and say, I am fortunate and blessed to having worked with you, and I'd like you to continue to lead from the front and inspire younger ones coming up. Continue to do the things that you do so well. You have an amazing gift. You're supremely talented, and the nation owes you a debt of gratitude for your contribution in the fine arts and also on the big screen and also on the stage. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. Bless up yourself. Big up.
I want to say to you, thank you so much for everything that you've done for me in my development in this industry we call show business. And most importantly, I want to say thank you for teaching me how to navigate this huge, complicated machinery we call Hollywood. I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you a million times. And I hope one day Jamaica will find a way to honor you for your immeasurable contribution to our culture and to the art form. You're not only an ambassador for Jamaica, but for the Caribbean. You have set the standard, sir, and I wish you all the best. And a little birdie told me that we might be working together soon, so see you at work, sir. Salute.
You are iconic in your own right. As an actor, director, writer, you've done a phenomenal job over the years. There are 2 sides, though, to your persona, to your being. The other side is, many people don't know, your artwork. This is one of my favorite pieces. It's called Chaos Takes a Bath. There's a dichotomy to it. It expresses so much for people that are voiceless. You are an activist for them. And I thank you for that. And this is also your inner person being expressed. I thank you for your life work and for not only in front of the camera, but on canvas. Thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. God bless.
Hey, Paul, what's up, man? I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate you. You've been a friend. You've offered great advice on things that projects I've worked on. And I think one of the things that I admire about is that you have a lot of empathy for people around the world, especially Jamaicans. And for that, I think my respect goes beyond what you can imagine, especially in the area of arts. You've been an iconic figure for our country. You and I have walked around in Wynwood, and people can't seem to get enough of you. Every couple of blocks you walk, people try to stop and talk to you, which, it says a lot about who you are and your accomplishments on stage, on the world stage. All the best, brethren. Respect every time.
Paul Campbell, my Pablo, true icon and fellow thespian. You've devoted your time to giving children in New York public schools the chance to experience the transformative power of theater and film. At Mount Vernon High School, you introduced the Paul Campbell method with shoot with the camera, not with the gun, empowering students to tell their stories through film. You wrote and directed the film Butterfly Noir, in which my students made their on-screen debut. I called on you again at Medgar Evers College Preparatory School to help with my musical Ruby that teaches the Harlem Renaissance. You taught stagecraft, inspired our students, rallied the arts fraternity, parents and community leaders. The results? Sold out performances. Paul, what you have done to promote literacy and social emotional growth among our youth is historic. Thank you, my forever friend.
My brother, how proud I am of you. A lot of people don't know that I used to be heavily involved in the arts in terms of productions, acting, singing with the university singers. And so I've always had a high regard for anything that is artistic and of a cultural nature. And so, Paul, I've watched your work over the years, from your many movies, Mighty Queen, Lunatic, Third World Cup, shutters, the works. And also your work on the stage. I've seen you in a number of productions, including ones with David Heron and your paintings, all great work. And I just want to say to you that, I'm proud of all the work that you continue to do, and I appreciate our friendship and the fact that when you have had challenges, you have been able to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move on. So keep moving, my brethren. Love you, appreciate you. And to Simone, keep up the great work. You are in one of my productions. You did a fantastic job, and you're even doing a better job now as a host. One love.
Paul Pablo Campbell. So many years have passed, my friend, but we are still here to talk about it. I am so proud of how far you've come, and I look forward to everything that you have coming up. Know that you always have my support every time. One love and light, my brethren. Carry on. Get your flowers now.
Wow, okay. Simone.
For Pablo, that's what we used to call him back in the day. And you hear some folks referring to, can hear Mr. Bennett calling you now. Wycliffe say, Pablo, Pablo, in the studio at work. Circle is strong, Paul, and they all love you for just how you've made your way through such a tough career. But I mean, I hear people talking about OD and accolades, and I know that's important, but I don't think that didn't mean nothing to you now. The people. All right, we'll break. We'll leave the show with Paul when we come back. Soon come. Them say 1 minute affirmation. Paul, the other day you said you had to look at yourself in the mirror and hug yourself. You gave yourself a big hug and you affirmed yourself. And you said to me, Simone, we just need to say your name out loud. You will hear it. Talk to me about that process as a part of healing, as a part of reconciling your journey, as a part of just moving forward.
Well, you hear people talk about loving themselves, and them buy fancy stuff and they fix their hair and them get some new boobs or whatever in all loving themselves. But truly loving yourselves is so much more than that. It's when you're really down. Like I've gone through so many things, and like the other day I was really out, and especially to people who are lonely. Hug yourself. Hug yourself. Hug up there and say, it's all right. You must make this, my brother. And hug you. Nobody's ever done that. There's so many people walking around that's never been hugged.
It's true, Paul. So true.
Hug yourself and big up yourself and say, I'm proud of you, man. You're still here doing the thing. And this is all in a way of tuning in. You're still tuning in because you're thinking about you. You're wanting the greatest for you, your kids, your family. You want your life to improve. This is why I'm not ever going to be given a gold watch after 25 years of service to any one particular person.
Not gonna happen.
Because you've got to spread it around. There's so much of life to be lived. And so you have to love yourself first before you're going to love even your kids. I see some people moving somewhere, man. You don't really love yourself, man. You're hustling. You're eating anything. You're putting anything in your stomach. You don't really love yourself. It's only when you need to go to the doctors now. Whoa, when did I get here? But you've got to be cognizant of you.
Take care of yourself.
Yes.
You're sick.
I keep telling people, when I'm 70, when I take off my clothes, the young girls are still going to be like, who is that flopping over there?
This is the Paul I know.
There you go. There you go. We haven't changed. But what I'm saying is you have to be vigilant about you. And same way can you imagine if everybody was vigilant about everybody?
Different outcomes. Sir, I am glad you blessed me with your presence today. Thank you for coming and sitting in my chair. Your mother would be so proud.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be a new opening, though. I mean, I'm not a negative person in any way. I'm never a pessimistic person in any way. I'm always wanting to see something, the excitement, a kid's chuckling, a woman saying, what a wonderful opportunity to get this. Something that's moving. Don't be telling people lies and then after X amount of years, nothing has changed. And then my son grew up to be working for that same man who pays him the same wages he used to pay his father.
Fairness, equity, kindness, balance.
Yes, it's it.
I got it. Thank you, friend. Affirmation 2 times. Let's lead the show before Lori takes me out of here bodily. Here we go, folks. Walk and live. Talk and live longer. Live more fully. Share more openly. Living a life free from shame and from stigma. Sharing your scars so others can heal. Sharing your road so someone else's journey doesn't have to be as rough. Because that is what connects us. It's our experiences. So whether you're a big-time actor or someone working an entry-level job, we are the same people with the same challenges. And you'd be very surprised to know that we go through the same stresses and sorrows, but from those, success can come. That we experience trauma and trial, but triumph can be the outcome. If we just keep going, even when life is a whop, we just pause if we must, but we know we do not ever stop. Tonight we are affirming, life is not over until we're dead. Nourish your suit so it can bear fruit. That is our soul food for this evening, for our show. That is it for this season, actually. Thanks so much, everybody, for sticking with us for our landmark 10th season. I am so grateful to our guests who shared so openly, so powerfully, and so vulnerably. And I'm so honored to have had this season close with Paul here with us tonight. All of you have inspired us with so much hope. Thank you also to our sponsors for their love and support. We couldn't have done it without you. And we are back next season with more amazing stories of the power of the human spirit. Until then, every blessing, and remember to count your blessings, everybody. Take care.